Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Nelly. Today's video is about, is your kingdom spouse who you thought it would be? We look at the story of Isaac and Rebekah in Genesis 24 verse 11 to 16. We see Abraham, as he gets old, he sent his servant to go and look for a wife for his son Isaac. The servant traveled a long distance and he got to a town called Nahor where he rested. We see that in verse 14 where he prays to God for two things. The woman that God has selected would be the one that is going to offer him water as well as draw water for his camels. When you look at verse 15, it says before he could even finish praying, Rebekah was just right there standing with a jug of water. Now how cool is that? Before he could finish praying, Rebekah was there with a jug of water. She even offered to draw some water for the camels too. I was just looking at the name Rebekah. In Hebrew, it means tie or to bind. It also has another meaning of captivating. When you look at her name reflected her beauty. It was captivating and she was beautiful. She was not only beautiful, she was kind as well, because I'm sure she was not the first one that passed there that drew some water. There were other women as well, but she had that kindness within her. This was a lot of hard work considering the amount of water one camel drinks. It takes about 200 liters, which is about 53 gallons in a space of 3 minutes. That means she drew about 2,000 liters of water. I mean, can you imagine that? Which means she got water for all of them, all 10, while he was sitting there just watching her going there and fetching water and coming back. He didn't even offer her that, okay, let me just help you. Maybe the girls in that town were so used to it, it didn't feel like hard work. But would you do that? I'm sure some of you would just think it's hard work. I know for me it's just hard work. And she went home and told the father and spoke highly about this man. And also the man was invited for dinner as well as spend the night there. After a whole lot of discussions, the following morning, she had to go with the servant to go and meet her groom. Now come to think of it, she had to go and travel a long distance to meet somebody that she's never even met before. But she did that because she had peace within her. That peace within her made her leave her family that she's known all her life to go and meet somebody that she's never met. I'm sure some of you have done this before, where you travel across town to go and meet that person that you haven't even met physically. Maybe you've met them online. It's not a new situation. It was done before, it's even done now, where people have to travel a long distance just to meet that person they've been chatting with. And you've spoken to them online so many times. Now it comes to a time when you finally have to go and meet. At least with today's world, you get to see the person you're chatting to. But with Rebekah, she had never even met Isaac. She didn't even know how he looks like. And Isaac didn't know how she looks like as well. But she took that state of faith to trust this man to go and meet his master's son. Because she had that peace within her. I guess in those days, people are honest. I mean, your father would let a stranger go with their daughter, which means people are honest as compared to today's world. There is no man that will allow her daughter to go and meet someone that she doesn't know from another town. But I guess the situation then was different. Today you can't do that. You can't even trust anyone. So when God has got that kingdom spouse for you out there, you have that peace within you because you know that he's from God. Something will feel right and you'll carry that fruit of the Spirit within you towards him, even if you haven't met him. When you eventually meet him, you will notice that you will have the rest of the fruit of the Spirit, which is self-control. This is when you have that self-control towards each other. You don't start thinking of having sex before marriage because you both have that self-control. On the other hand, we don't hear much about Isaac, but we know that he's also in a waiting period. He has that faith that the wife that will be brought by his father's servant will be the one that he's going to like. So he's probably waiting to meet that kingdom wife. While his father's servant was gone, he was just not sitting there waiting. Because I'm sure that journey took long. So he carried on with his everyday life. He and Rebekah were on this waiting season where they both have to wait for each other. They didn't know who they were waiting for. Only God knew that. Even Abraham didn't know who the servant was going to bring. It was God's plan to bring them together. And he did just that. Because the father could see that his son Isaac was now prepared to go and leave his father's house, to now cleave with his wife and become one. Sometimes we always think that women are the only ones that are waiting. And yet even the men are waiting. The only thing that is needed is for both of you to cross paths, which only God would arrange that. They are also praying to meet that woman with the qualities that they are looking for, as much as you are praying to meet him with the qualities that you are waiting for. He is feeling the way you are feeling because you've got similar paths and walks. That is why when you meet him, you will realize that you've got so much in common, because you are connected spiritually even before you met. Your destinies were already aligned spiritually and mentally. This is when you realize who he is, because now God has revealed him to you. That is why when God reveals him to you, you will also do the same to him as well. This is when now you have to start praying for him. Pray for his protection and pray for his job and pray for everything about him, all the qualities that you want from him. If he needs to heal up on certain qualities, pray for that as well. Because there's some qualities that you will not know. Intercede on his behalf. This is when you have to start learning to pray for him, because you'll eventually need it when you're married to him. Because there's a lot of Jezebels out there and they're just waiting. Remember, the devil hates marriages, especially kingdom marriages. He will do anything to destroy those marriages. Every man has got his own wife from his own rib and not to share. That is why you have to keep praying for him. Pray for him that he doesn't divert and end up meeting somebody that he's not ordained with. In Corinthians 7 talks about every man should have a sexual relationship with one wife and a woman with one husband as well. When God brings somebody in life, he will come when you least expect it. It's not who you thought it was. So the devil will make sure that you don't meet and you end up marrying a counterfeit. That is why you need to involve God in your prayers all the time. Sometimes we have it all planned that I want to get married, I want to finish university at a certain age, and then I'll work for another 2 to 3 years to have children at a certain time. When it comes to God's timing, it's not your timing. You can do all the planning as you want, but at the end of the day, it's God's decisions. Sometimes culture will even rub marriage into our faces, telling us that, look at your neighbors, they're all married, they've got children. And when are you getting married? Only God knows when you're going to get married. It doesn't matter what season you're in. Only God can make those decisions. No matter what age or circumstances that you're in. It's only God that can make that final decision. God will arrange for you to meet that kingdom spouse. It doesn't matter where he is. Even if he's across the Atlantic Ocean or the Indian Ocean, you will get to meet in his own timing. Nothing is impossible with God. I suppose people that knew Abraham then knew what type of man he is. And he was well known as well. And yet Rebecca didn't know who he was. He didn't even know Isaac as well. The person that God has for you is not who he thought he was. God has got something far much better for you. So are you prepared to finally meet him? Because sometimes we think we're prepared and yet we're not. We haven't healed from our past relationships. Have you set those boundaries that you want in a relationship? Are you willing to submit to him? Or maybe you're thinking there's no way you can submit to anyone. Are you willing for him to become your head? Because when you're married, he's going to become your head, the head of the family. Are you willing to submit to him? And by the way, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, he's going to be your head. It will be God, him, and then you. Then the children. So are you willing to do that? Because real marriage is about service. It's not what you can get from each other. The presence of God has to become the center of your marriage in everything you do. He's much closer than you think. Don't rush to find him. He will find you. He will come to a place where he will discover you because you are part of his rib. Because you're spiritually connected to one another, your spirits will communicate before you even communicate with each other. That is why you hear people saying, when I saw her, I knew she was going to be my wife. That is why you don't need to rush him. When he finds the right woman, it will be at the right time. But when he finds the right woman at the wrong time, and he does everything that is so wrong, he will turn that woman into a woman scorned. Because at the end of the day, he wasn't prepared. He's still entering this relationship and yet he's looking elsewhere. So that is why he needs to come to you at the right time. Don't rush it. Don't let him come to you at the wrong time. Let him be prepared. He must come to you at the right time, when he's ready to settle down. So when you are marrying somebody who is not the right person for you, you'll end up marrying the wrong person. This is when you're not equally yoked. Because you didn't hear God's confirmation. You just rushed into that marriage. And years down the line, you realize you married the wrong person. Your spouse is preparing himself to meet you at the right time. That is why you see men today unmarried. Because they cannot find that wife material. And you ask yourself, I wonder why, when there's so many women, they're looking for that person who's carrying part of their rib. Yes, there are so many women out there, but none of them are carrying part of their rib. You may be the one carrying part of their rib. The problem is we want to benefit without commitment. You want to be somebody's wife, but you've got issues that you need to solve first. Issues that you haven't changed, that you haven't dealt with. You may think it's not him. He's hidden for now. God has hidden him. Because there are things that you need to change on your side before God reveals him to you. It could be he needs to change something about himself, or maybe you need to change something about yourself, or maybe the friends that you have around you. Maybe sometimes the friends that you keep are not the friends that God wants you to keep. They will not show it to you that they hate you. They see that this relationship has got potential, and soon you'll be married. Even though you least expected and you never thought it could be your kingdom spouse, suddenly God has turned things overnight. The people that saw you last week, you are now engaged. Just like Rebecca, the people that went with her in that well to draw water, they knew her as a single lady. And suddenly she's married. God can do that for you. Everything can just change overnight. Just pray to God that God wakes him up from that sleep. Because God has put that rib in him for you. So he needs to wake up from that sleep. Pray that he wakes up and finds you before those Jezebel women find him. When he finds you, he will know, and he won't think that you are the person that he thought you would be. Because you are his kingdom wife, certified to bring peace into his life. He will have that peace around you. Something in him will tell him that you are the one. You are the one for him. Just like how Esther found favor from the king. It wasn't because she was beautiful. There were other women that were beautiful as well. So you will find that favor in him. Something about you will bring favor to him. You'll cross paths. It doesn't matter where you are, just in case you're worried. You won't even understand how it happened. Everything will just be happening so fast. Even your courtship, it won't take long. Because God wants those kingdom marriages to happen, and he's arranged that engagement for you. All it takes for you is to walk in his purpose and what he has for you. He wants you and your spouse to glorify him. Glorify him in this marriage. Thank you for watching. If this is content that you like, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you in the next video. God bless you.